Good afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon, and Erik Woods and I are just here to talk about soundtracks, film scores, perhaps the Academy Awards, maybe some Ant-Man or some Ant-Men. Ant-Men would be plural of Ant-Man, right? I think so. Anyways, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
It's pretty day here. It's like maybe like low 60s in American numbers.
Oh wow, I don't even know what. I don't know what. It's still cool here. So, but at least it's not snowing, which is good, and the snow is melting.
Okay.
Although I nearly crashed into my neighbor's car yesterday because we had an ice storm a couple of nights ago, and I was pulling into my driveway and I didn't realize that it was just covered in ice still,
Right.
and just skidded off. And we almost share a driveway, so I skidded out into this kind of like middle little grass part, and then was able to correct myself. But I was going to crash right into his parked car, which would have made the worst Saturday ever. But yeah, I managed to not crash into him, thank goodness. But yeah, I was scared the crap out of me. It was like black ice. It's terrifying.
Well, David Pensack wants to know, what are you going to make him buy today?
Ooh, well, that's fun. Do you have this one? I've been listening to this one today.
Look
Live
at that.
95. This is a compilation that was recorded by Joel McNeely and the Royal Scottish National Orchestra, and so kind of in the mid '90s. Well, before that, were doing these compilation releases of like the best scores of the year, and so they would. I think there was like a 1988 version, 89, 90, and they would just put on their albums like a compilation of tracks from their own label. But then in '94, they recorded the best of the year in Seattle, and then they went to in '95 they went to Scotland. They did the same thing with '96, and '95 is just a great recording. I mean, there's Batman Forever on here, the launch from Apollo 13, the suite from Judge Dredd, Ballad Sylvester is fantastic. You get the trailer from Judge Dredd by Jerry Goldsmith. That was, I think, one of the earliest recordings of it. Casper, Waterworld, First Night, Braveheart, and then one of the greatest love themes of all time from a 1941 movie called That Hamilton Woman by Mikhail Rocha. Rocha died in '95, so they there's a nice little tribute for him on this album. But this one, every piece just is magnificent, absolutely magnificent. I mean, the launch, McNeely takes a bit more of a faster tempo, and it's awesome. It is so good. So it's one of my favorite compilation albums, and I don't know why I turned it on today.
What's the legit title on it?
Hollywood 95.
Hollywood 95. Okay.
And so it's Joel McNeely, Royal Scottish National Orchestra. Yeah, it shouldn't be expensive. But and then there's Hollywood 94 and Hollywood 96 as well. They're great. And then, I mean, the series stopped. And then in 1999, I think they tried to revive it with an album called like Music from the Phantom Menace and Other Film Hits or something like that. And they did an awesome suite of the Phantom Menace. They did The Mummy Returns, Shakespeare in Love. And there was a couple of other tracks that were original soundtrack recordings from the Varese catalog. It's a great album, but the Star Wars stuff is pretty cool. The Flag Parade concert suite, probably my favorite performance ever. So yeah, I wish they'd kept up. I mean, Silva decided they were going to try to do some of these best of the year albums, and it just never really picked up. So
I wish they would do something again. They don't seem to do much of anything anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Silva. I mean, I don't know, something up with James Fitzpatrick. I don't know what it is, but I just hope somebody picks up the mantle. I really do.
I feel like maybe I have this already.
You might. You should scan it into Discogs.
Yeah. Well, I'll yeah. Just so everyone can get in on the joke. I started adding stuff to Discogs the other night, and I got up to like, I don't know, like 60 or 70 things. And maybe if I do 50 a day, I'll be done within like a year.
Yeah. Well, I was telling him that he should scan the albums with his phone, because Discogs offers that. It'd be a lot quicker than typing it all in. But at least then you won't be buying doubles and triples and quadruples, and
Yeah.
I could not believe how many CDs you have to the left of you when you did that tour of your
I couldn't either, but I counted them. I just counted like up and then like how many columns there are, and I'm like, there's 100 or so here. That's just right there. That's not even the bulk of the collection.
Oh my god! And
That's nowhere near the bulk of the collection.
I mean, is that like the new stuff you got in like the past
This
year,
is stuff
or
like within like recent memory and stuff that just kind of stays in the queue.
oh my god!
Yeah.
Do you have the
Anyways,
rest on the shelf, or is it just kind of like loosey goosey?
They're in a floor ceiling dresser.
Oh, okay. In a dresser.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a dresser where everything just perfectly fits like that. So I can pull out the drawer and read the spines.
like, does the drawer pull out, but not all the way? Like, does it kind of like, does it do this and shows
Oh,
you the
no, it comes out, comes out all the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had the ones that were like from IKEA, and they would pull out like this way, and you can see the spines, and you can just push them back in. I gave those away.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. It was really neat. I loved them. I wish I still kept them, but yeah.
People in the chat, if you want that CD, go to eBay, type in Hollywood 95 Joe McNeely. It'll pull it up. Looking around $10, $15.
That's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's a great record. I mean, great record. Everything that's on this is beautifully recorded. And that performance of that Hamilton woman, whew, that's a stunner. Absolute stunner.
Let's see. We also got Big Al in the house. How are you, sir? Anders Falk, how are you? Yes, it's evening for you. It's daytime still for us here. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. I think David says he's got that CD.
All right. Well, I'll find something. I'll find something you don't have.
Hello, Sound Engraver. How are you? Good to see you. Miss 80s. Hello. How are you? Okay. I think it's everyone. Yeah. Did you get the new release for Amistad yet?
Yes, I did. Yes, I got that for Christmas. Yes,
okay. I did. Is it not amazing?
It is. It opens up that score for me. I mean, it's just amazing how many like different versions of things that Williams works on and tweaks and tinkers with during the recording session, and it's amazing how really different one cue is from the other and just written for the exact same sequence. It's amazing to get an insight into the creative process. Yeah, but it's just there's so many great extras and it sounds wonderful. The presentation of it is wonderful. It's a great album, and I would never have expected that like Amistad would be something that I would be, craving as an expanded edition, but I'm glad it's out and I'm glad it's there and I'm glad I have it.
I think that's going to be like the record to beat this year for me. I know it's only the start of the year, but I love that. I haven't made it to disc 1 yet. I'm still on disc 2.
There's just a lot of great like little things sprinkled throughout, and it's so interesting. And I'm gonna have to go watch the movie again. I really like the movie. I always liked it ever since I first saw it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to viewing it again.
So new releases that don't really have an actual physical release that I know of. Bear McCreary's, what is it? We have a Ghost. Is that what it's called?
You sent a stream, my YouTube link to it, and I listened to it. I don't know what the name of the title is, but I didn't realize he was writing it, and it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So I mean, I really haven't listened to a lot of new stuff this year. But I'm looking forward to diving in. I mean, I always look forward to anything Bear McCreary. Just diving into his catalog is always fascinating, and just
he said on the Instagram that was his love letter to like Jerry Goldsmith's 1980s and Amblin Entertainment, and I'm like, yeah,
he's very good at doing that. Like, and when he says he's going to do something like that, he actually does it. It's like listening to the television score he did called Human Target, which I think was at the time or still is one of the biggest ensembles of live players for a television series of all time. And I think he and his director for season 1, he only got to score season 1. they mentioned stuff like, Indiana Jones, Raiders Lost Ark, and that's the kind of score that they wanted to deliver, big, thematic, and that's exactly what Human Target is. And if you don't have Human Target, I highly recommend you that one.
Is it on CD?
It is.
Is it under $100?
That I don't know. I don't even know where my CD is. My McCreary's are up there, and I don't see it. Or do I? Yes, I do see it. Hold on.
Okay.
So, it's a beautiful package. It's a Jim Titus special.
It's
At least I think it's a Jim Titus special. Yeah, it is. So this is 3 discs.
Oh, it's 3 CDs. Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah. Everything he did for this season, it's limited 2,000 copies. And it's beautiful. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful release. The discs look great. Just great. And but for some reason, I think they were cutting down the budget because I'm sure this thing cost a fortune to produce. He wasn't hired back for season 2, and then I think the series just died after that. But this is one of his best scores, in my opinion.
Well,
like a great main theme and like awesome action music. There's a track called Motorcycle Escape, which is just amazing. It's great. Yeah, I highly recommend that one.
I think anything entitled Motorcycle Escape just has to be amazing.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Very, very good.
Well, I have to say this. Curse you! I just bought it. Curse you.
I win yet again.
PayPal in 4, baby. PayPal in 4. I played my entire life.
Have you heard any of it? Well, I guess you know what? It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. You don't really need to. Anybody that doesn't have it, you'll love it. You'll just love it. Every track is amazing. Amazing. It's so good. Yep. Yep.
Well,
so does David have it?
Mark says, find Human Target. You won't regret it. Okay.
There you go.
So if I do regret it, I'm gunning for you in Chicago next month. And Mark, I'll have to track you down over the internet.
Oh man, I am the enabler. You're right. What else can I pull out of here that you guys might?
But on the positive side, I can now mark this off my list of notes from today's show. I don't have to look at that anymore. David, you can have it. There's like 4 copies on eBay.
Oh, he doesn't have that one. There's a big win. Another one. I win. That's it. Show's over, guys. 13 minutes. Have a nice day. See you next week.
Yeah, because God knows I haven't spent enough money this month on stuff.
Now I want to listen to it again. Oh my God.
See, I was going to listen to Total Recall this afternoon while I finished working, but now I may look that up and listen to it.
It's fantastic.
Wow, 3 CD set. That's pretty sweet.
It is. I don't know what the original price of it was, but
probably about $40, I would guess.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, who would see a 3 CD set of any TV show? And they were actually selling the first CD in the cover right there. But yeah, it's and he wrote a song. All the God, what a huge orchestra! This orchestra is massive. That's just all the little print for all the performers. But I think he does mention that this score was probably the largest ever. He says, of all the scores I've written, Human Target is the one I would have liked the most to listen to as a kid. Makes him feel like he's 10 years old again.
You know, I wish I'd paid for that express shipping option now. Thank you.
And he got an Emmy nomination for the main title. Look how young McCreary looks.
When was this show done? Back in the 2000s?
Was 2010.
Okay.
I mean, he's like an old man now, but he looks like he looks like a teenager here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But good for him. He's yeah, so we both agree that Human Target would succeed only if it could maintain a delicate balance between drama, comedy, suspense, and action. This balance has been struck before in adventure films like the Indiana Jones series, Lethal Weapon, and Die Hard series. So they were modeling the music after those films. I mean, that's what you want to hear all the time. Like, yes.
Welcome, Victor. It's okay if you're late. The only thing you missed was Eric twisting my arm and making me buy a CD.
3 CDs.
A 3 CD set.
So most of the orchestra was 60 pieces. Where's the part where they mentioned that like it was like the largest orchestra that I can't remember. I swear they said that. So if Indiana Jones taught me anything as a kid, is that half of the fun of going on an adventure is the music playing during the ride. Love this guy. Yes.
Wait. Man, I hate some people on eBay. This guy's got Caprica 3 CD set limited edition listed on eBay, but it's not. It's both things that came out. He's just making a 3 CD set. Like,
oh,
bastard.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll do that Ghost show on a CD?
Oh, the McCreary. Well, he has his own label, so
okay.
It's whether he wants to. I know he'll release it digitally. Whether they release it on CD, I don't know. You can never tell nowadays. I'm just glad it's out.
And it is on YouTube, people, if you want to listen to it.
Yeah. What is the
and
name
Victor says Human Target was great as well. So
yeah. And the great thing about Bear McCreary as well, and if anybody's a fan of Rings of Power, and I'm talking about, I mean, not so much the show, but the music and the compositional process, Bear McCreary goes into great detail on the creation of the score on his website. He writes these incredibly long blog posts about how he comes up with the ideas and what he does, and there's lots of examples, and it's amazing how much information there is on there. And I think it goes all the way back to Battlestar Galactica. I think he was doing like weekly blogs,
in that series.
So, I mean, if you're a composer, or even if you just like the process and want to, read the behind the scenes on how these things come about, yeah, McCreary's one of the best at it.
He's also on Instagram. You can follow him there.
Yeah. So, and I'm really happy with the Rings of Power. I'm hoping it wins anything and everything. So good. It's so good. You just never thought you'd ever hear a score like that again. How many themes are in that? There's just so many. I mean, that whole first album was just a suite of themes. It wasn't even like the score proper. It was just like he wanted to write every character that he gave a theme to, he wrote a separate suite for. But where do you find the time to do that? I mean, I know he has a team, but apparently he said he wrote every single note for this one himself. This was a super special project for him. I think he worked on it for about a year. And it's awesome.
I need to stop looking at eBay. I've spent when I was going through the John Williams list on Discogs, there was a Boston Pops CD that was only released in Germany of just Star Wars music. It's just a compilation of what I already have on others.
Oh yeah.
But it's on this one.
Tons of those. You go like on Spotify and someone's like, oh, here's a compilation of Indiana Jones music or something, and it's just like whatever he's recorded on other albums before. It's really bizarre. Really, really bizarre. That's one thing I'm kind of. Why hasn't John Williams done an Indiana Jones recording? And you would think that that would be something that would sell, or some. Like, I mean, he's done Star Wars, um, but again, he could have done a Harry Potter album himself. I mean, there's actually some great Harry Potter recordings out there. But yeah, I'm wondering if if he was younger, he probably would have done it, maybe. But still, it'd be great to have like an Indiana Jones album, not recorded by the City of Prague Philharmonic.
I was going to say that one is out there.
Trash. So yeah, gross. What else is on your mind? What does everybody else want to talk about?
Who has seen or listened to the new Ant-Man score besides myself?
I haven't. I was supposed to see it this weekend. My son saw it, but I was like, my son who hates movies is the one that's seen it before I did. He went with a bunch of his buddies, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I've heard some real like horrible reviews of not just the movie, but of the score itself. So like, it's not as interesting as the other two were.
I enjoyed the score. You twisted my arm and got me to get off the fence about buying Ant-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're great.
And I enjoyed them a lot more than I thought I would. And there was definitely overwhelming sense of fun to them. The new one is lacking that sense of fun. It still sounds like Ant-Man, but it sounds more like a dreamy dream of dread versus fun antics of like trying to, outwit the bad guys. It still sounds Ant-Man-y, but it's not fun like the other two.
That's too bad. And that's what I liked about Ant-Man. Ant-Man was kind of like he was the kind of like the outlier of the MCU. It was like a heist movie type. Well, the first one was a heist film, and I loved it. I also loved the character of Ant-Man. 2 was fine, but they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't think Ant-Man I don't think is very interesting when he gets into that kind of like traditional MCU universe. Although I mean, I thought he was again the best part of the Civil War fight. He's just an interesting, fun, unique character, and I don't feel like Ant-Man is something that needs to go MCU huge in order for his character and his story to succeed. So, but I'll still see 3, but I don't know. I mean, Ant-Man and Ant-Man, the score are my favorite MCU films and film scores. Hands down. No doubt.
I am glad they've kept the same composer for all 3.
Oh, and that's great. Yeah. I mean, that's rare. I mean, I think Giacchino with Spider-Man might be the only other one that
I think so, because everyone else has just been changing hands.
I mean, it's good to have musical continuity within the series, so thank goodness for that.
Avengers.
Yeah, with the exception of like Civil War, right? And then I mean, you have Brian Tyler in Avengers 2. It's just a mess. But again, thank God for Danny Elfman, or else there's no doubt in my mind that Avengers theme would not have returned ever.
I didn't like anything about the Avengers 2 film score.
Oh no. Well, I like Elfman's material. The fact that what he came up with, I mean, he came up with his own theme, and then he reprised Silvestri's stuff. It was way better, I felt, than Brian Tyler's crash bang style of scoring. And I like Brian Tyler's action music, but it just, I mean, for instance, I like Iron Man 3. But what I think Elfman saved the day. Elfman saved the MCU musically, I think, with Age of Ultron. We wouldn't have a Portals queue if it wasn't for him. I don't know if they would have gone back to Silvestri. You know what I mean? I think Tyler, something happened on that movie. I don't know what it was, but Tyler was like the MCU guy, right? He shows up, kicks ass on Ant-Man 3. He's got Thor. He's got the Marvel theme, and he's just doing so well. And then all of a sudden, shit hits the fan with Age of Ultron, and you're like, what happened? And they stopped using him. Just stopped. And I was like, what happened? And he hasn't come back. I mean, do we hear any of his themes in the and I mean, his MCU theme is gone. Or the Marvel Studios theme is gone. Giacchino wrote one, and I love it. But it's like, what happened to Brian Tyler? I don't know. What's Sound Engraver saying here? I can't stand. I'm gonna look up a theme, and only suites are provided. A theme is not a suite. A suite is not a theme. I'm not sure I completely understand. Do you?
Yeah, like a suite would be like a collection of different bits and pieces, but a theme would be a singular piece.
Like, are you talking about like an end credits suite compared to, let's say, Princess Leia's theme?
Yeah.
Like Princess Leia's theme as a concert version. Are you okay with that? But then when you're talking about like a suite of stuff from Star Wars, like you don't want to hear, say, The Empire Strikes Back and titles. You would just rather hear like the Han and Princess concert suite, Imperial March, etc. Just trying to figure out what she means. Yeah.
Victor
So
says Josh Whedon didn't like Tyler being imposed upon him.
maybe just when like having time. Then that's possible. Maybe. I don't know. But I
Mark
mean,
says Tyler's doing Yellowstone currently.
oh yeah, and they're fine. But it's so weird to see like that instant cutoff. Like he's gone. Like he worked his way up. You know, Iron Man, Thor, and then it was like, all right, we're giving you the Avengers. We're not bringing back Silvestri. It's like, dude, you're our guy. Now he's not. And I can't see how much power Joss Whedon would have had over that series, since it's a Kevin Feige thing. He's the guy dictating everything. Although I'm sure that they wouldn't have got Sam Raimi to do Doctor Strange 2 if there wasn't something in his contract saying I'm bringing Danny Elfman with me. I mean, I like Danny Elfman's score, don't get me wrong, but I just again wish Giacchino was the one continuing on.
Yeah, I do too.
Series. So the MCU still musically is an absolute mess. Still to this day, they still haven't learned their lesson yet, except for Spider-Man and Ant-Man. And then, of course, they figured out with the two Avengers movies. But still, it's such a mess. What an absolute mess it is.
I did love Tyler's Thor 2.
That one to me felt a bit more derivative of what he was already doing. But then again, I hated that movie, but that doesn't necessarily reflect on how much I like the music. But there was something about that just didn't really register with me. But anyway, okay, so let's say I look up Leia's theme. YouTube will almost like to provide an entire concert suite. I prefer to know what the main eight, not how the orchestra runs with it. Okay, I'm still kind of like so. So you would just rather hear like the first 8 to 16 bars of the theme, and that's it? I mean, are we talking about more music theory side of this, or still on your musical enjoyment? Because I think the concert suites, what Williams wrote for Princess Leia's theme, right? The theme, but that's it's expanded upon, which I mean, for my enjoyment, that's well, it's really good. But I mean, I can understand that if you want to look for like 8 to 16 bars, I think you're talking more about like the dissection of the music or more of a music theory. Oh, the music theme is a statement, not a whole piece. True. But that theme can be expanded on into a piece of music. Like, I don't think I would get any enjoyment out of just listening to 8 to 12 bars of a melody and that's it. I like to hear it fleshed out. And
You didn't like the Fablemans?
but still, then again, that thing is fleshed out, right? You got the statement. It's like a song. That's what it is.
Fablemans fleshed out. Okay.
Right? He fleshes it out in titles, but I mean, there's not much to it. But at least it's not like it's not as boring as, let's say, the Social Network. But but I think I'd like to, like, I wouldn't get any enjoyment out of just listening to 8 to 12 bars of a melody and that's it. But again,
According to the Google, and for those of us who aren't music degree holders, such as sound engraver, ideally a 16-bar cut should be 30 to 45 seconds in length. 1 minute is maximum.
for what, a theme?
Well, 16 bars. I'm just looking at 16 bars of music. I'm trying to put in my brain how much music that is.
Right, and that's okay for, like, I mean, we're talking about a statement of a melody, right? I like long sing-song lyrical melodies rather than, let's say, I don't know, something that's like 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes long without much development. But I also need to hear, like, that's what's so great about John Williams is that when he does present, let's say, Princess Leia's theme in suite form or his concert work form, I mean, you get to hear 3, 4 different variations of it in a nice kind of, I wouldn't say it's like a song, but it's great to hear those statements. I don't know, various different inflections and whatnot, which is why I like the original Han and Princess Leia theme that he did instead of the kind of new messed up version that he's done, which includes the Force Awakens material in it, which just the structure's gone. So,
okay, well, let's tackle Jaws. Jaws is just 2 notes.
It's actually, well, it's 3. Dun-na-na. Right? So you got the dun-na, dun-na, and then it's dun-na-na. But then there's a whole thing for the shark.
There is.
Right? Dun-na-na, 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 right? So when you see it, like that great wide shot from up on the boat, and they're seeing it for the very first time, it has this very awe-inspiring theme to it. So there's so much to unpack with the Jaws theme that everybody thinks is just 2 notes. It's way more than that. But it is amazing what he could do with just 2 notes for the buildup. Like 2 notes and you're scared out of your pants. But there's so much development in it. Unlike, again, we go with the Social Network and we got that plink plonky piano thing that Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross wrote over a drone. It's like, admittedly though, when it is played over the sequence when the dude walks into the office and smashes the laptop and finds out that he's been cut out of Facebook, that piece of music quite effective. It works, but God,
do I need to listen to the Social Network at some point in time?
I think you need to see the movie. You got to hear how it is in context. There's portions where it does work, but the fact that it's an Academy Award winning film score and it beat How to Train Your Dragon is probably one of the most ludicrous things the Academy's ever done. And they've done numerous ludicrous things. And
I just think you live in some alternate reality called Canada where it beat How to Train Your Dragon. Because I'm pretty sure in America, How to Train Your Dragon won.
The Oscar?
Yeah.
In your multiverse, sure.
Yeah. And Birdman land. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to this. No, I guess I mean, if a person needs to know the theme, I prefer hearing it by itself. Okay, sure. Yeah, so it's like Frank Lehman's analysis of Star Wars music. That's, again, it's more, I can understand that. I get it. So yeah, if you want to find like every little nugget of Star Wars music and what it means, and here's the theme in its simplest form over the course of 8 to 12 bars, then yeah, Frank Lehman does a great job at doing that. I think he's literally going to write the book on Star Wars music. I think he took a sabbatical from his I think he's a professor somewhere, and he's taking about a year to write that John Williams book that he wants to write. So very knowledgeable guy. Really likes Children of Dune. I never did see that. Did you see Children of Dune?
I tried to watch Dune when it came out back in the 1980s, and I was like, I don't understand this. And it's just kind of turned me off from Dune.
So you've yet to see the new one?
Correct.
You should see it.
I tried to listen to Hans Zimmer's score for Dune, and I just I know you loved it. I know
Well,
you loved it.
I will tell you. I will tell you this. I listened to the sketchbook a few cues before I went and saw the movie, and I didn't like it at all. So this is one of those ones where context is so important. It is so important to understand what Hans Zimmer was doing with the music, and it's just so like it's tough for people to separate the two. So this is one where the music really, really, really belongs with the movie. It's just integrated with the universe and the sound and everything about it. And I also think that once you kind of dig deep into it and you find out, I mean, again, the creation of it doesn't necessarily mean that, unique instruments, oh, it's so different, it's automatically good. It's like, no, but I'm fascinated by that. But if you can integrate those instruments into in an interesting way within the score proper, then it's fascinating to me. So after seeing the movie, um, I sat there with my friend Rob, and I was like, wow, that was one of the best things I've ever seen. And I was like, that score was magic. That was just so good. And it really could not belong to any other movie. And that's, I think, what you want. It is a Zimmer score. It's a very traditional, like, Zimmer score. It's what Zimmer does. And I got to give him props for trying new stuff and integrating new instruments and all that sort of stuff. But you hear it and it's Dune. And I love that. But it's also, I think, very musically interesting. And so when I came home and I started listening to the sketchbook and the original soundtrack, I can't listen to the score that was for the book, The Art of Dune or something like that. But I could not stop listening to it. I couldn't stop. One track just flowed into another, and it was like listening to 1492 Conquest of Paradise for me. Just an immersive musical experience. So yeah, but I think go watch the movie. I really, really do like the movie, and I hated Lynch's version of it. And again, like you, I didn't want to go into the Dune universe ever again. But I loved what they did with this first part, and I can't wait to see the second part. Can't wait. It's pretty impressive. It's an impressive piece of cinema, in my opinion.
He did get the Academy Award for Dune, right?
He did. And I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm really fine with it. And he accepted it in what, like his pajamas, or he was in a house coat or something like that, because he was out in Europe. He would rather be out in Europe performing his music instead of attending the Academy Awards, and he got an Oscar in his house coat. It was quite funny. But I mean, yeah, I wish he had won years earlier for Interstellar, which I think is just an absolute masterpiece, and a film that is warming up to me like every time I see it. I've seen it 3 times now, and I'm like, wow, I hated it at first, really enjoyed it the second time, saw it with my son the third time, and I'm like, this gets better and better each time I see it. And the score is just, I mean, just the stay theme, where Matthew McConaughey's character has to say goodbye to his daughter. That you can really feel. You really feel it. It's one of the most emotional things I've ever experienced in a movie before, and the theme it hits me so hard every time I hear it. And it's a genuine piece of emotion that comes straight from Hans Zimmer's heart, I think. And I think that's what the thing that he wrote for Nolan, to convince Nolan to actually start filming, because I think the deal was that he wrote something, like Nolan wrote something on a piece of paper, like a general story or something, and said, hey, go home and write me a piece of music to this or something like that. And Zimmer came back and he had this piece of music, and I think Nolan was along the lines of, okay, well, I guess I better make a movie to put, music to it. So yeah, I love Interstellar. That's another one that was just on forever, just constant repeat.
Have you listened to Interstellar while driving through a blizzard?
No, I didn't.
You should.
I have driven through a blizzard. It is terrifying. I actually just got reminded on Facebook about my drive I drove from Ottawa to Quebec. It's about a 4-hour drive on a normal day. And I decided, hey, you know what? I got a rental car, and I'll just drive it. I don't mind driving, but I didn't realize that a storm was coming. So I canceled my flight. I said, nope, no flying. I'm not going to fly. It's only like a 45-minute flight. Maybe it was a little bit longer than that, but it was one of the most terrifying things. And I took a picture of what it looks like out the window, and it looked like I was in hyperspace in Star Wars. That's how bad it was. Hate it. That was terrifying. But I know why listen to Interstellar in a blizzard? Is that what happened to you?
It's just, it's kind of surreal. You just said you felt like you're driving through hyperspace. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it'd be a little trippy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't eat mushrooms, but if I did,
Yeah. Excuse me.
So I need the deluxe edition 3D set of Dune.
Whatever Waxworks came out, was it Waxworks or Mondo? Mondo came out with a CD version of it. I think it contains the sketchbook and the original soundtrack, or I could be wrong. Whatever you don't need the he wrote a score for the art of Dune. I think it was the art of Dune.
I think you have to buy the book to get that one, don't you?
I don't know. It was on Spotify.
Okay.
It was good to see you, Sound Engraver. Thank you very much. And if you can, go check out the Frank Lehman, Lehman. Check out his writings on Star Wars. You'll love it. Like super deep dive into that universe.
He was on an episode of The Baton, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And he's on he makes numerous appearances on the Star Wars Music Minute or something like that. It's a YouTube podcast where they explore the films minute at a time and they talk about the music. So yeah, he's constantly on there. More of a deep dive into the it's like musicologist type of talk, like music theory. So kind of goes over my head. So what else? You want to talk about the Oscars and how much we hate them?
I used to enjoy the Oscars. Who do you want to win this year?
The only score that I think was any good was Babylon. And before the Academy Awards were mentioned, Babylon's the only one I have on my like my favorites of the year list. So yeah, but I'm looking up I can't remember them now. Academy Award Best Score.
It's John Williams for Fabelmans, which
right. So that one bugs the hell out of me, because it shouldn't have been nominated. It shouldn't have been eligible at all due to their rules. But Academy bends their rules for some people, and sometimes they don't. It's all arbitrary, and that's what really ticks me off about them. Ennio Morricone, he needs to win an Oscar, so we'll let all this, needle dropping of previous music in Hateful Eight. We won't even think about that. We'll let you.
How is it that was his only Oscar? I don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like Alex North never won one. Goldsmith won one. Alan Silvestri, I think, has only been nominated a few times. Bruce Brann's been nominated, I think, once, and then had one Oscar nomination or an eligible song taken away from him because of some Oscar rule. And that's one thing that really pisses me off about the Academy. Like they went hard on Bruce Broughton for this song that he wrote, and he broke some rule, and they're like, nope, you're not now eligible. But meanwhile, Soul broke the rules, but yet they win the Oscar a couple of years ago. Ennio Morricone's score broke the rules, and John Williams, I mean, it's the previously existing music that takes away from the dramatic impact of the original score, which in the Fabelmans, that's what happens. The classical music plays a more prominent role than John Williams's music. Again, it's something that you and I and the rest of us in the film music world can say, oh, of course we know the difference between classical music and original music, or even the difference between songs, but these rules have come into place because of things like Walt Disney, when they were winning all the awards for their Disney Renaissance movies, And I think they were winning basically because of the songs, not necessarily because of the score. Then you were having other films winning because the songs were so good and the score was like it just so happened to be nominated. I mean, think about Fame. How much score is in the movie Fame? I mean, the songs are the most memorable portion of that. Meanwhile, Fame beats out The Empire Strikes Back. Like, come on. So they have these rules in the place, but yet they don't want to play by their own rules. And that's where I'm like, come on. So yeah, I mean, Williams wrote enough music to come within the, I think like a film has to have like a 35% original music or something like that in order to be considered, or I forgot what the rule is, but yeah, you know what, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring up the music rules. Music branch Academy rules. I mean, they've changed over time. So is this year's rules? The original score. So yeah, so in case of such for sequels and franchises of any media, a score must consist of more than 80% newly composed music, which does not contain any pre-existing themes borrowed from previous scores or franchises. So this is getting over that whole sequel rule thing that made Howard Shore's Two Towers ineligible, but then they decided, oh no, wait, it is eligible, but like they forgot to tell the Academy members, so that's why Two Towers didn't get nominated. But now they come up with this rule that 80% of a sequel score has to be new. So you can use previous existing themes, but just 80% of it has to be new. The score shall not be eligible if has been diluted by the use of previous existing music, or has been diminished in impact by the predominant use of songs or any music not composed specifically for the film by the submitting composer, and or it's been the score has been assembled from music of more than one composer. So that's where this rule of why I don't think John Williams should have been eligible this year is because there was predominant use of classical music throughout the Fabelmans that was playing a far more dramatic role in storytelling than Williams's music was. I'm not saying that Williams's music wasn't playing a dramatic role near the end of the film, but it's the classical music that stands out. And so according to their rules, it should not be available. And then, yeah, Mark brings up, Babel and, so it's like they don't play by their own rules. So that's what it really ticks me off about that.
Yeah. And Mark saying Around Midnight beat out the Mission by Ennio Morricone, which is in my mind his greatest work, and Aliens, which I'm not sure Aliens should have been nominated.
I think it's fantastic.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not fantastic, but it's got a lot of Wolfen in it, doesn't it?
Oh, it has everything. Is Khachaturian in it. It has repeats from previous scores and things of that sort, but it's all whatever. I mean, every score. I mean, look, Star Wars shouldn't have won either. Then, I mean, if you're thinking about like the classical uses, and it's. But I think Aliens is extremely effective. Hoosiers, I think, was nominated that year as well. Star Trek 4, I think, as well. Like, they're all better than Round Midnight. Round Midnight's a great album, by the way. If you don't have Round Midnight, it's an awesome jazz album. But so Big Al brings out wouldn't those who vote know the difference? You would think so, but there's 10,000 Academy members now, and one, I don't think they care necessarily about the secondary categories, stuff like special effects and all. They don't care. But if they're like, hey, I remember the music in that film and I liked it, I don't think they know what the rules are. So even if there is some Mozart in it or Bach or whatever, they'd be like, hey, you know what? I liked that music. They don't know which is but the thing is, Williams's music is very classical in nature as well. Like, everything is piano based in that whole score. And so it is tough for just say an ordinary Academy member to say, oh, I can tell the difference between John Williams and classical music. The people that need to tell the difference and should stand by the rules that they've created is the music branch, and they don't. So, but unless there was some special arrangement made for John Williams' score to be nominated, which again, you can write in and say, hey, we think we should be nominated because if that happened and they're like, okay, well, we agree with that, we will allow the score to be eligible. But I mean, there's been other scores that have had the more of the original score and only a few cuts of classical music that have had their scores left ineligible. Think about Arrival. That film is bookended by a Max Richter piece, and the rest of the score is all Johann Johansson. But because of that, those bookended pieces of music, they're like, well, those play a more dramatic role in the picture than all the rest of the music throughout the film. So we can't make that eligible because people won't be able to tell the difference. They won't know that that's a Max Richter piece, and they won't know what's a Johann Johansson piece. So it's too confusing for our members. So there you go. But honestly, they don't care. Have you ever seen those anonymous, like sorry, I'm just mumbling. Those articles where they've talked to Academy members and they talk about what they're voting for, but the Academy member is like, it's obviously an anonymous person coming in and talking about what they're going to vote for. And there's times where I heard them talking about, nominations for certain scores a couple of years ago, and the guy literally said, I'm not voting for Thomas Newman because I hate his music. It has nothing to do with whether that score was good that year. It was like, I hate Thomas Newman, so I'm not voting for him. That's what's in their mind.
Who hates Thomas Newman?
Somebody. But their reasoning they're like, oh, well, this guy's already won 5 Academy Awards, and even though he's awesome, he shouldn't win. So we're going to give it to this guy because I think he deserves it. Not because that year that's the best of performance. They're looking at it for other reasons. And it's so corrupt, and it's such an insider type award show. I mean, they're all just patting each other on the back, and it's all for promotion. It really doesn't mean anything, but it's so prominent and it's so in our face that many people think that, oh my God, that picture won best picture, so it must be best picture, or that score won best score, so it must be best score. So like if anytime I'm talking, let's say, about the differences between Social Network and How to Train Your Dragon, the first thing someone will say that if they're a Social Network fan is, well, Social Network won the Academy Award. Like, congratulations. That really doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. That good, great. It won an award. But what do awards really mean? Especially when it comes down to the Academy. But anyway, but only those in the composer are allowed to vote on best score. So the music branch brings in the 5 nominees, but then when it comes down to voting, the entire Academy votes. So the entire Academy votes in the nominations for Best Picture, but then it's the actors branch will nominate the actors, actress, the sound people nominate their sound people, and so that's how the nominations come about. But when it comes down to voting for who's going to win, the entire Academy gets the ballot with all of the nominations, and they make a choice based on what the entire Academy thinks. So that's how that works.
And then all of those FYC things end up on the eBay.
Yeah, and they can't do that anymore. That's illegal. You can't send out, like, you can have an FYC site, I think, but you can't mail stuff out to people anymore. Much like I don't think. I wonder how it works with screeners. Do they still give out screeners, or do they do that all online? I think screeners are different, because I don't think what the music branch wants to have happen, or any of the composers, is that they don't want it based on the music. Like, you cannot separate the music from the film. And from what I understand, I think when it comes down to the evaluation of a score, I think they're only handed a small portion or a scene and saying, yeah, this is the best representation of our score. And I think that's how they go about it. But I could be wrong. I know that's how they do it for excuse my breathing if you can hear that wheezing. I'm having I got bad allergies. With the Emmys, I think for that the actors hand in like their best scene from a single episode, and it's not based on their entire work throughout an entire season of television. So that's how that's chosen. It's really weird. But anyway, as for the Oscars this year, Yeah, so if Babylon wins, then Justin Hurwitz should just continue working with Damien Chazelle for the rest of his career, because he's just going to continue winning Oscars writing music for his. And by the way, Chazelle is a very music friendly director, so I'm happy for Justin Hurwitz, and I'd be more than happy if he wins. All Quiet on the Western Front is an absolute abomination.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie?
No, I tried to listen to the score and I was like, "Ugh." But then everyone says the movie's good. So
The movie's very good. It's but it does the score takes away from it. Like it ruins the movie. And this again is another war movie that does it. Like Dunkirk ruined Dunkirk for me. Sorry, Zimmer's Dunkirk ruined Dunkirk for me. I refuse to watch that movie again because I hate that score so much. And All Quiet on the Western Front, it's just I don't understand. You hear those though that those kind of mechanical blaring 3 notes, and you're like, what is this? What is this nonsense? And it just throws you out. I mean, it's one of the first things you hear in the film. It's so bad, but the film is so good. It is so good, and you've got to see the effects reel on that one. It's some of the most convincing special effects I've seen in a really, really long time. I literally thought that they were filming on these expansive fields, and a lot of it's all digital manipulation. It's brilliant. It's brilliant how far CGI has come. I was blown away by it. Very, very good movie. Very, very good performances. But the score let me down a lot. So, sorry, with the exception of Best Picture, voting members get only 1 vote per category because the field for Best Picture is so big. This year there are 10 nominees. So yeah, there's 10 nominees. I think there have been 10 nominees for the last 5 or 6 years. They expanded that after a while. But what did the Academy get to pick more than just one Best Picture, and do they rank it by like a point system? Anyway, have you seen Banshees of Inisherin?
no,
Um,
I don't think I've seen any new movies except I saw Doctor Strange and Spider-Man this past year. That was it.
huh. I mean, I don't see a lot of movies, but I felt like some of these ones that were getting some really good reviews I had to check out. And I saw Banshees, and I think, oh, Janet, my wife, she's from Newfoundland, and I'm like, oh my god, you'll like this. It's a film that takes place in Ireland. I mean, it's right up your alley, because of the Irish roots in Newfoundland. So, but she didn't watch it with me, and I asked her again. I said, "Do you want to see it?" She says, "No." So I watched it on a Sunday evening, and once it was done, I just hated myself for watching it because it is one of the most mean-spirited, ugly movies I have ever seen. That contains breathtaking cinematography, incredible direction, and some absolutely brilliant performances. I'm at a crossroads with this thing. I was like, I don't know where to go. I'm like, you have to see it in order for it to kind of understand where I'm coming from. And you might not see it that way, but it is so mean spirited. It's just, I felt so bad the entire 2 hours. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this with these characters, but they're so well acted. I mean, absolutely magnificent. And it's a beautiful movie to look at. But the score really didn't make an impression on me at all. It seemed to be kind of like that glue that was keeping one scene connected to the other. So they finish a scene and then play some music, and then we're on to the next scene. It doesn't really play underneath, like the scenes proper, with the exception of a few. But I just felt like it was like montage cue, one montage cue after another montage cue, another montage cue. That was just kind of like these little
It's like Rocky
segmented pieces of music. Yeah, well, no, I mean, but it wasn't playing over even a montage. And the thing is, it was, what I kind of appreciated is that it didn't sound Irish, and that was done on purpose. I think it's more, is it Hungarian folk music that Carter Burwell based the music on, because the film is told like a folk tale. It's weird, but even with that, it didn't make an impression on me whatsoever. Yes, poor donkey. Yes,
What
so
happened with Donkey?
you have to watch it. That's where I was like, I'm about this close from turning this movie off. I'm about this close, because then that's the point where I'm like, they're just pounding on this poor character. They're just pounding on him constantly for
Okay.
no good reason. Like the whole premise, you're like, what? This is what? It's, you got to watch it. You got to watch it, and I want to know whether you're as conflicted as I am, because
Well,
because
you've
it's
got
like
me
it's so
concerned about
good,
this
but it's so
Donkey shit.
like,
I found At Pupil on YouTube the other night, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch this.
it's
And
awesome.
I made it up to the point where Magneto takes the kitty cat inside and turns on his gas stove, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
Gotta watch the rest of that movie.
No, I'm out.
You have to. There's no more. I don't think there's any more animal torture after that.
I'm sure the kitty cat got away and he's okay, but I'm like,
No, finish it. You gotta finish it. Oh my god! If there's any of, you've got to finish, and it's one of John Ottman's best scores. But you have, and God, you have to finish it. Finish it, please. It's so good. This isn't. It's not like this movie I'm talking about where you're just like utter depression the whole way. It's like, why would anybody want to subject someone to this? And I was like, oh, I never want to see it again. Never, ever. So, anyway, we can move on. Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once? Sorry,
I am not. Big Al, dude, I was talking about Apt Pupil with Magneto and some kid with blonde hair, based on Stephen King book.
There's the former Nazi soldier or whatever that's in his neighborhood, and he becomes
was
very
an SS officer, was what I gathered.
Yeah. So he's very, very the boy becomes very curious about him and wants to know the truth. And then it gets super intense, and it was
just real macabre. He was asking the guy about like, well, what did it feel like to kill all these people? I'm just like, dude, you're like a teenager. Go out and reach some
comic book. He was a teenager. He's trying to figure it out. You're looking for first world or first person experience. You're telling me that's not fascinating?
Some things I don't need to know that much. You know, it's like,
I mean, what they did was terrible, but you're like, what's going through your mind when that stuff is happening? Right? That's kind of, you're like, what? It's much like, it's one of the reasons why last night, it's going off topic. I was looking for something to watch, and I was just bored silly. I didn't want to watch a movie. I just want to watch something stupid and turn my brain off. So on Plex, they have live TV, and it's just like terrible shows, one terrible show after another. Well, they have a channel dedicated to cops. I'm like, man, I remember Cops. I used to watch that in the 90s.
Bad Boys. Yeah. What you gonna do?
Like, yeah. This is still going on. And so I'm watching it, and then it's just amazing to see, the people that they arrest and, what they're going through in their lives, right? Because it's so different than any of ours. And it's like, these people are out there, and it's like, well, why are they doing this? Like, they have 3 kids, but yet they're still going out on a Tuesday afternoon in a parking lot and, shooting themselves up with God knows what. Or they're, like there was one with like anyway, I think that sort of stuff is just so fascinating, because there's no way I'm ever going to live that world, but it's like you get that first person experience of these people. And you're like, why do they do that? And I find that fascinating. So that kind of goes back to like, sure, I mean, what the Nazis did was absolutely deplorable and horrible, but I'd be like, well, what's your thinking? What are you thinking about when you're thinking? Like, how can you think that way? And that's where my mind kind of goes with this impressionable kid who's just kind of like, man, this guy was a Nazi. But the thing is, I think he's just a kid, right? He's just a kid. It's like, oh, he's a Nazi. It's much like if we watched only Raiders of the Lost Ark, or like, oh, the Nazis are the bad guys, right? Like, we don't know any different. And then when he finds out what it really is all about, right? Because he wants the guy to get into his wants Ian McKellen to get into his costume. right?
He bought my uniform. Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
he goes through the whole thing of putting it on, and then and it's just terrifying the shit out of this poor kid. And it's a really, really good movie. I think it's a Stephen King story. It's not one of the short
Yep.
stories that comes from is it called Four Seasons? Or four, it's like
I,
Shawshank Redemption, Apt Pupil, The Body, which was Stand By Me, and there was something else.
I just remember it said story by Stephen King, and I was like, oh, okay. Are there werewolves in this? Yeah.
No, it's one of those it's one of those short stories. And it's a novella. Different Seasons, not Four Seasons. This was titled Summer of Corruption. And yeah. So Different Seasons was Shawshank Redemption, Apt Pupil, The Body, which became Stand By Me, and then The Breathing Method, which someone is doing a movie on that one. So 3 out of the 4 have been made into movies. Apt Pupil is excellent. Now, no, I'm going to go find that. I want to watch that tonight. I haven't seen it since it was in the theater. Anywho, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen it?
No. Big Al has.
It's crazy.
He is on top of everything.
It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy movie. Unfortunately, I don't remember a lick of the music at all. Son Lux is a band. So it's 3 guys. And they wrote some wacky score. The thing is, the director, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's got Short Round in it.
Yeah, so Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. Anyway, these 2 directed Swiss Army Man. Have you ever seen Swiss Army Man?
No.
It is about like this guy who's marooned on an island and he's about to kill himself, but then he sees a corpse washed up on the beach, and it's Daniel Radcliffe. Not really like Daniel Radcliffe, but it's just Daniel Radcliffe's playing this character. And the guy tries to kind of resuscitate him, but when he's doing that, man, my mind's messed up. Daniel Radcliffe actually, once he started pressing down him, he starts like just farting all over the place. And so it's a relationship between this guy and his farting corpse. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's one of the sweetest stories I've ever seen. It's one of the most bizarre films I've ever seen. And it contains one of the greatest montages in the history of montages ever, with a song literally called Montage, where the composers, Andy Hall and Robert McDowell, are dictating exactly what you see on screen. And it is one of the most heartwarming, fantastic, amazing, cheerful thing you'll ever see. And Swiss Army Man is one of my favorite scores of this century. It's all a cappella. So it's all human voices as well as percussion. But the percussion is only made up of things that you would find like on a marooned or desert island. So there are no real instruments until they get back kind of to the real world. And then I think they incorporated some strings, but it's all a cappella. They do an a cappella version of Jurassic Park, which is just fantastic. See the movie. So these guys are just weird. And so I can understand how Everything Everywhere All at Once came about. It's an absurd ride. But again, when we come down to music, I don't remember anything of it. So it's like, what? Okay. I guess that'll get an Academy Award nomination.
Yeah, I'm curious. How does Apt Pupil end?
No. You can't. No. Read the book then. I'm not going to tell you. No, watch the movie. There's a great scene with what's his face? He makes a cameo from Indiana Jones' Last Crusade, the Nazi general guy. He's in it. There's a scene in the hospital And it's a terrifying scene. It's just his eyes. I mean, they've casted him really, really well. You got to watch it. But I think it's a great movie. Honestly. Who acted? Who directed it? Was it Bryan Singer? Which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Okay, so the kid's got a shovel. It looks like he's in a basement, and the, the, the guy looks like he's hurt. Um, okay,
Yeah, don't
so
don't don't give any spoilers on App Pupil. Some people haven't seen it,
okay,
but I highly recommend checking it out, even though it is a Bryan Singer movie.
don't know why the guy's in the basement with the dude, but
Don't.
okay. I
Just
think if
watch
you got
it.
kicked in the kneecap like that, you wouldn't be able to stand anymore. But we'll move on.
Good.
Hello, Retro Reels. How are you? We're discussing movies I have not seen, and apparently other people
This is the Academy Awards.
have not seen Half Pupil either. Victor is talking about Harry Potter. 2 alumni being in flatulence themed movies. Which
Who's the
Harry
other
Potter
one?
people?
Who's the other one? Oh, the only one I can think, like recently, was not the BFG. What's the other flatulent theme movie with an alum? Now I'm trying to think of the adult actors now. Interesting. So, yeah. So the Academy Awards this year is just so underwhelming. It's not funny. So as long as Babylon wins, then I'll be okay. But if All Quiet on the Western Front wins, I mean, I've given up on the Oscars anyway. So Ripper Thunderpants.
Sounds like a kid's cartoon.
Okay. So I've given up, on the Academy. But I'm part of the IFMCA. And I think we do a pretty good job with our nominations. So tell me what you think of this. Would you give up the 5 that are nominated this year for the Academy Awards? And would you like to have these ones? Although there's one television score in here, but so we got Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, The Fablemans, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and Nope. Those are our top scores of the year.
I just don't feel like there was enough to the Fablemans, unless there's more music in the movie that's not on the soundtrack.
There isn't.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't vote for the Fablemans at all.
And I hate saying that, but it's just like that was like one of the biggest disappointments I've ever had with the John Williams film score. I was so excited for that to come out. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. And it's like this is only 30 minutes long, and it's not even all film score. Like, where's the rest? Where's the rest of? I'm like, where's the rest of it? Is it in here somewhere? Like, where is it? I don't. Okay. But
I'm okay with the spotting. I don't think it's bad, but I can understand why people would be like, "Oh my God, this is the last thing ever for John Williams and Steven Spielberg," which no, it's not. But it's like this is the way they're going out. But I mean, you can't really control that. But I think that the fact that it is an incredibly personal film to Steven Spielberg, that the score is also equally kind of personal and intimate, and I mean, fits the film like a glove. It's not the greatest thing that he's done. I don't think it's bad. I can understand the disappointment of like, hey, John Williams is going out. He should go out in a blaze of glory. And I think that's why we were all happy that, possibly his last film score is going to be Indiana Jones, which would have been a great kind of bookend to his career. So, but I just don't feel like the Fablemans has it's fine, but it's not like the best. And that's where I'm coming at. I'm like, it's not the best. I mean, the mother and son theme is wonderful, but nowhere near the best of the year. But that's nothing against John Williams. And it's just that I'm a John Williams fanboy, but I'm not going to say it's the best just because he's John Williams. That's not fair. So
Who did the score for Nope?
Michael Abels. So his first film score was Get Out. So he's worked with Peele. What's his first name? Jeez.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah. So it was Get Out, Us, and now Nope. And I think Nope is the weakest of the films. The score has an incredible case of temp track-itis, because all I hear is all the pretty horses during the end credits. There's no doubt that end credit cue was temped with that. But the cool thing is that he wrote this awesome concert piece, and this is how Peele got to know him. And so the concert work, oh my god, I'm looking for it right now. It's killer. It was actually featured in one of the action sequences in the movie. Now I can't try to find the friggin' track. Well, if somebody out there knows, what is the name of the track? Pursuit? Oh, well, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. There's a great article on it. And Michael Abels' Nope concert work. And it's a great concert work. Holy smokes. How come I can't find this now? In any case, it's a really, really good score. It's like I said, it's kind of a mix between kind of Signs and in like Hollywood Western music. So yeah. But I wish I could find the name of the piece of music that he wrote, because it's a really cool story. And I mentioned it on my podcast, but now I can't. I obviously didn't recall it, or didn't keep it in my brain.
Johnny Shannon brings up a good point. I think you would agree with Eric.
Yes, of course. I mean, yeah, I could be full of myself when I'm saying, I really think the IFMCA does it the best. But I mean, the thing about the IFMCA is that it's what we do. We pay attention to film music, and we pay attention to a lot of film music. I mean, we have access to tons of material that not everybody has access to, and that's the whole point. We want to do our due diligence. We want to watch as much as we can, and we want to listen to as much as we can. So as much as most of our nominees come out to be very Hollywood centric, if you look down the list, I mean, we are representing, Egypt and Spain and France, all over Finland, all over the world. And, we get to listen to a lot of really cool, like, documentary scores that aren't normally released. A lot of great game scores. And so, yeah, I mean, our favorites are, again, like, there's a lot of big budget stuff in there, but we do listen to a ton of really interesting stuff. And that I don't think, let's say, many film goers get to listen to or even want to pay attention to. And that's the thing. We pay attention to film music. That's our job. And so if it came down to, nominating film music, I think we do a pretty damn good job at it. But that's just my opinion. Yeah. So I'm still trying to find one. Oh, there we go. Okay. So before getting the job for Get Out, Abels brought in a piece of music, an excerpt from his classical piece that made it into the score to Nope. It's called Urban Legends. And so years later, Jordan Peele was listening to it when he was writing the script to Nope, and he imagined the music as part of a certain place in the script, a very exciting moment. So we tempt that piece in that scene, and they were both amazed at how well it worked. And so the classical work was reworked into the score. And so it's called Urban Legends, and it is amazing. It's just so, it is so cool. It's a great, and the classical work itself as a whole is amazing. So yeah, the track is 27, track 27 on the soundtrack. It only lasts a minute 42, but it's called The Run Urban Legends. So that's the classical piece that was worked into the score. But listen to the entire piece. I think it's like 10 minutes long. I think 10 minutes long. And you can find it online. It's very, very, very good. So yeah. What else did we say? Did you like Avatar? Did you see Avatar?
I did not.
Did you listen to the score?
No. I wasn't a fan of the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't really put my finger on it, but it never really spoke to me.
Like the music or the film or both?
The music.
When's the last time you listened to it?
When did it come out?
Oh, really? 2009?
Yeah.
I'd say give it another go. I got a really, really awesome suite that I created myself. It's about 10 minutes long. I should send it down to you, and you should listen to that. It's actually pretty good. If I may say so myself. It's based on the concert suite. So have you seen the Hollywood in Vienna tribute to James Horner?
Yeah.
So they played Avatar there, and that's I'm not sure if that's similar to the one that I heard, but I heard Avatar performed live here in Kitchener Waterloo, and they did a 10-minute suite, and I was like, holy smokes, full chorus too. And I was like, wow. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really warm up to that score until I heard it in concert, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's something else. I might have changed my mind, and so yeah, I went back and created this suite. I'll send it to you. That's really good. It might change your mind, but I mean, but I think Avatar Way of Water is wonderful. And then there's a lot, it's very different, and also similar at the same time, but it's got a lot of electronics in it, weird new sounds. I mean, it's not just a repeat, and it's got this great theme when they leave Home Tree. It's one of the first things that Franklin wrote, and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful music. So if you listen to one thing, listen to Leaving Home Tree, that cue, and then there's this kind of like ethereal heavenly cue that he wrote for one of the giant whale-like creatures in the film. What's that track called? Payakin? But like if you listen to like these tracks back to back, Leaving Home, The Way of Water, and Payakin, correct me if I'm wrong in saying that, those three should get you hooked on this score. And the action music's just thunderous. Listen to Navi Attack. That thing rocks. Just absolutely rocks. And I'm really, really upset for Simon Franklin for not getting a nomination. Just again, I don't want to give it based on just the sheer amount of work that somebody does, but the score is just absolutely magnificent. And then when you find out that just how much time he's dedicated to not only this film but the Avatar universe, it should be recognized for something. So the deluxe version is great too. But I mean, if you don't like it, I don't think the deluxe edition is going to make you like it or anymore. But I think the regular album has a good running length, and there's again, I'm a fan of the score, so an extra 30 minutes of and the song chord. Oh man, that thing melted my heart in the movie. It's a great song. And again, it's not like a pop song. I mean, there is a song. It's the Weeknd performance like a pop song, but there's like when it's in context, it's not. It's just so beautiful. Anyway, I love that score. I love it. It went above and beyond what I was expecting the music to be. I knew Simon Franklin was going to do a good job because I've heard his previous work, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. to be honest.
I'm
Did
gonna
you
have
see-
to get back out to work here pretty quick, but
Sure.
David was asking about any upcoming releases that we know of.
Like archival stuff or new scores?
Anything. I noticed La La Land has not released anything new this month so far.
So Mike Mattasino mentioned on one of the John Williams boards that there is a John Williams release coming up this year.
Just one.
Whether it's just one or two, but he mentioned that. Entrada's got a whole bunch of stuff planned. I mean, there's a deluxe edition that, whether it just came out digitally or whatever, the Time Machine, Klaus Badelt's Time Machine, just came out as a deluxe edition or will be released. That's the score that ripped off Jerry Goldsmith's theme from The Edge.
Is Entrada dropping that one?
That's Varese.
Okay.
So Varese is dropping a deluxe edition of that and whatever else. They'll, like, again, I don't know whether it's a digital only release. So look, I'm looking at the thread on Film Score Monthly. Perez is releasing a digital deluxe edition of Klaus Badelt's score to the 2002 film adaptation of The Time Machine. It says it's 75 minutes long. Presto Music. So if you look under Presto Music and you look at The Time Machine, release date was February 3rd. And it looks like you can download it right now. So if it's one of your favorite scores, you can listen to that right now. Whether it's coming out on CD. I mean, again, Varese hasn't announced a CD batch yet, so, but that's most likely part of their next batch. But as for anything else, no, I'm not really privy on anything else, although the Entrada Records re-recording, the Herman re-recording they just did. God, why can't I remember this? The Man Who Knew Too Much. They recorded that with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra, and Mike Ross Trevor was the recording engineer. Yeah, The Man Who Knew Too Much and On Dangerous Ground. And so they were getting very, very close to releasing that. I helped back it, and I got a notice saying, what kind of, or is this your address and you want a CD? And I'm like, yes, that's my address and I want a CD. So that usually means they're coming so close to finishing the album, and we should see that out very soon. And I'm super excited. And I can't wait to, I hope they do another one, like something soon. I'm so happy that Entrada and Tribute Film Classics have come together and that we're able to back these recordings. That's great. Keep the re-recording alive.
Well, if we only get 2 John Williams releases this year, what do you want?
Okay, besides Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, those don't count.
I would love to hear an expanded Nixon. Because I think it's one of the greatest dramatic scores of his entire career. And then, I mean, Sugarland would be a dream. Sugarland, I'm always going to say Sugarland. I mean, that's got to hear Sugarland. But yeah, a Nixon release would be fantastic. And I've also heard Sabrina's coming out at some point. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else is out there that would be like Witches of Eastwick. That expanded would be really good. Or Hook, just finally doing Hook properly. So Nixon and Hook. That's what I want. I want to hear all of Nixon. There's got to be all. No, for Nixon. JFK, because I want to know everything. I want to know all the secrets behind the creation of that score. JFK, I want to hear everything that John Williams wrote before and how much he did, if any, when the film was finally edited together, and whether he massaged a few of those cues to make it work, or whether all of it is just needle dropped. So JFK and a proper Hook. That's what I want. So yeah.
Oh
my
Starship
God.
Troopers deluxe vinyls coming out for Record Store Day.
That is going to be what, like 70 LPs? Because that's a huge score. Holy cow. I mean, wow. I mean, there's already 2 discs, right? And it's just, can you imagine how big that track for Rico's Roughnecks Destruction of Roger Young and Bug City is going to be? It's like a 10-minute track. Oh, wait. And then the end titles is 10 minutes long.
Look what Victor just said.
The original score BAFTA has gone to, oh.
Perhaps a reissue of The Hunt for October from Entrado.
Sure.
Or maybe La La Land could do their remastering of it and make it sound that much better.
Yeah. Oh my God, Victor, come on! You could have saved that till after the stream. Excuse me. That's terrible. Awful news. God, this score sucks so bad. I mean, literally, I was reading press for it and I was like, we're doing different because of different. It's got to be different. It can't sound like anything good. It can't be like John Williams is Saving Private Ryan. It can't sound like a traditional blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, great. But, you know, make it fit the movie, and it doesn't. It's garbage. It's garbage. Come on, folks. Sing along.
Okay, well, my 2 choices would be JFK. You know, I've been wanting that since, you know, what, like 10th grade. I would like a La La Land remastering of The Accidental Tourist, just because I think that would sound amazing. I think my ears would explode from the amazement of it. I still want Hook to come out. Anything that hasn't been released to come out. Anything that hasn't been remastered and expanded from La La Land needs to get remastered and expanded. So all those titles would be my 2.
You know, I was just thinking, forget all that. We need another Anne Sophie Mudd or Joan Williams recording. Okay, I'll leave now.
I'm sure that's coming at some point.
It is. She did a violin-only version of the new theme from Indy 5. Yeah. Hooray!
Yeah, I expect that San Francisco concert to come out on CD at some point.
Thank God that they did that in San Francisco and not in Chicago. Yeah. I would leave. I'm sorry. Thanks for the ticket, Daniel, but I'm out of here.
Okay. Well,
you coming with me? You come with me?
You know what those tickets are going for, right?
Chicago?
Yeah.
I don't, Tom. I'm just gonna feel thank you very much. And I'll take you out for a nice dinner. But Jesus, don't tell me.
I like cheeseburgers and French fries.
You can have as many cheeseburgers and French fries as you want on me. Because thank you very much for the Chicago tickets. And I am gonna try to contact them to see if we can maybe get to see the rehearsal.
Okay.
I'll do my best. The worst thing they can say is no.
It's true. I was going to go to the San Francisco concert, but I just didn't want to do $1,500 for a ticket.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah. I was like,
come on.
Maybe if my least favorite German wasn't going to be there, I might have, you know.
But you're going to Chicago. Do you really need to go see them in San Francisco? I mean, for that much? Think about how many hundreds of CDs that you can add to that pile to your left for $1,500.
I could add
how many more dogs can you save?
I know.
Anyway, hey, it was great to be back, and I hope Ian can join us next time. Yeah, he's not feeling well, guys. So if you're wondering where the heck he was, yeah, he's not feeling well. But so what are you saying? In a couple of weeks, we'll do this again on a Sunday?
I'm good with that. Next weekend, I'm moving my mother to her new house that she's got. So next weekend, definitely out for me. But I'm thinking the following weekend, I'm hoping after this week, my life can pretty much go back to normal. That's my.
I hope so too. Yeah, you've been through a lot, and so I hope that everything kind of settles down for you in the next couple of weeks. And
Yeah.
I'm going to make a suggestion. If anybody listening, like, why don't you put your suggestions in the comments as to what you might want us to talk about in a couple of weeks, and we can kind of prepare for that. And I think that would help us greatly finding a topic, even though we kind of go way off topic usually. But anyway, by the way, the IFMCAs are coming out this week. I think it's this week. I have to put the video together for it on YouTube, but you get to see who our winners are and it will not be all quiet on the Western Front, guaranteed. So, but yeah, the IFMCA has a YouTube channel, so be on the lookout for that. We'll do a live video presentation, and that's always fun to put together. So
everyone, go check out Bear McCrary's score for that. What's it called? We have a ghost, or I think we have a ghost, or
Human Target.
And well,
whatever. Yeah, the new ghost thing from Bear McCrary. Awesome.
Yeah, the show's on the Netflix. I don't know anything about it, but I have listened to the score, and I was very pleased with it.
Right.
You got anything coming up?
I'm doing a top 10 love themes that I was supposed to do last week for Valentine's Day, but I lost my voice, so I couldn't record. So I just recorded
Predator 2 in there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm going to create you an intro for your channel that's just going to have Predator 2, but it's all going to be done kind of like a Monty Python style animation. The love theme from Predator 2. Do you want some candy? No Predator 2 and no Silvestri. So,
okay.
But yeah, I just recorded it today, and I've lost my voice now. So thank God I did it before I lost my voice. I'm all scratchy again because of the allergies, and yeah, that'll come out. Victor Field, his playlist show, Patreon playlist show is going to come out very soon. So we put that on the Patreon, so the Patreon members get to listen to it first, and that'll be coming out either this week or next week. And it's very good. It's a really, really, really good show. I like it a lot.
He was talking to me yesterday about the Shogun, Maurice Jarre.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That there's like is it a 3-disc set that came out?
It's
either 3 or 4.
But I'll tell you, Victor's got incredible taste in film music. It's the stuff I was playing was like, there's a few things I have never heard before, and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that I got this now. It's a really, really good show, and it's just under an hour, I think, or it's in and around an hour long, but great selections. So yeah, it's a very good show. Like I said, it'll come out either this week or next week. I'm gonna try to aim for this week, but I got a whole pile of other stuff that, like, the second part of the Bernard Herrmann interview show with author Steve Smith. I'm working on a John Williams classical show. Then we got all my best of stuff coming out too. Like, I got to do about a year-end list, which I haven't done yet. So, and then of course I got an annual Oscars suck show, which I guess I'm gonna have to do this weekend. So I'm gonna have to prep that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have Victor next week, but it's very good. You guys will like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a large package on Tuesday.
Oh my God. LPs or CDs?
A mixture of both. I mean, I say large. It's really not. I think it's like 5 or 6.
Still, that's pretty good.
I mean, it's not like 30, but
no, it's not an Ian Clark package. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have the box there? It's the Lost Ark. Just keep jamming shit in there.
I tell you, I think I can fit 20 more CDs in here.
Oh my God.
Until this box is full. I mean, he ain't watching this, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, but that's counting Harry Potter as 1. So technically that's 7. Okay, so I got 14. I can fit 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, maybe just 12.
Still,
Maybe just 12.
wow.
That feels
Is
anticlimactic.
this going to be a Christmas thing, or are you going to send it once it's full?
I was going to send it once it's full, and then I actually got to make it to the damn post office, and I can't imagine what postage on this is going to cost.
I don't want to know.
But
I don't want to know.
But there's some good stuff in here.
Oh yeah.
We got the Harry Potter set. I got the expanded rosewood, Missouri Braves. What else is in here? Got the Egyptian. A bunch of stuff. So.
Yeah, it's going overseas.
Do what?
Victor's asking if that's going overseas.
Yeah, it's going to overseas. Yeah, it's going to. Yeah, that's not. That'll probably be $100. But that's cheaper than me carrying it over there. So
true. No Predator 2.
There's no Predator 2 yet.
Oh my Lord! Wow.
If I can find that at a reasonable price, but good luck with that.
That might have been the very best response to the Mercedes challenge I have ever seen. By the way, that was incredible. That was great. I love it.
I was afraid people weren't really going to get it. Like, and I have a friend. He messaged me. He's like, "Yeah, I really didn't know you were kidding." I was like, "Can't you pick something else besides Predator 2?"
Well, the thing is, you messaged us saying, "Oh, I'm going to do the thing that I said I was going to do." And I'm like, "What the hell was the thing that he said he was going to do?" And then all of a sudden, it started off with like Predator. I'm like, "Oh, it's the Predator 2 thing. He's going to go." And I'm like, "Wait, is this going to be the only one that he's doing?" But then all of a sudden, it was like 5 minutes later, I see you already have the teaser for the real part. But I thought, "Oh my God, he went with it," and it was amazing. I was just here roaring, just like, is he going through with this? Yep. He's going through with this. It was very good.
I sat down. I did that in like one take. I didn't really know what the hell I was going to say. I just like read the questions and just like made something up on the fly. And
it was well done.
Very
well done. More people need to see it.
And yes, Victor, I don't have to pay customs on it. We need to start a GoFundMe for Ian to cover the customs. But this time I'm taking the plastic wrap off everything, and I'm just marking it used CDs. And
it's a good idea.
Are they going to hit you for a used CD?
I think it just depends on how much you think all of them are worth when you put that on the box.
Like in reality, or like in like custom?
So if you say like each of them is like $5 each, like that's something that I think La La Land does. La La Land will say that one of their CDs, even though you bought it for like $40, is like $5, and that cuts down on custom fees, at least to us here in Canada. I don't know what it's like in the UK, but I mean, it's not lying. But if you say they're used, then you can just say whatever you think.
They're not new because the wrapper's off.
So I mean, if you want to put down like what they're actually worth, it's going to cost you a fortune. And I mean, you'll get that back. But if you say they're $5 each, all you're going to get back is what you like with the insurance is what you think that they're worth. So UCDs, if someone opens up and says, "Oh yeah, they're just UCDs and they're $5 each," they can't know which one's rare and which one's expensive.
Yeah.
So you try to keep that cost down with being somewhat honest. But I know that I think it's La La Land does it with like it's only $5 for whatever they say it's worth. And I never get dinged with custom charges.
I felt so bad he got dinged with his Christmas present.
The only thing I got dinged with custom charges was for that. That's it.
The Indiana Jones doll?
Yeah, I was like, she's like, I'm like, "Why are you still here? Just give me the package." "Oh no, you owe me like this much." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
How much for the custom charges?
I was like 6 cents.
Okay.
You're not paying for it, so you stop it.
Well, I'm like, that's like nothing. I'm like,
it wasn't 6 cents, but it was 6 cents.
Okay.
You don't worry about it. I was happy to pay for it after I saw it, and I'm fine with it.
I was cleaning out my I'm trying to clean out my primary soup closet because the rack collapsed from all the weight eventually.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, and everything's buried. And I have I bought this off eBay years ago. You remember that Star Wars movie Solo, a Star Wars story?
I'm not. I might have a book on it or something like
Okay,
that.
well, I have the one sheet autographed by everybody.
Okay.
I'm going to send it to you.
I don't have any room on my walls.
That's not my problem. That's yours.
The only place I have room is on my ceiling, but even that I have like limited ceiling space.
Okay.
But it's like there's posters here, CDs.
Hey, look,
look at
you're
this.
not getting you're not getting anything. My house is floor to ceiling, wall to wall, everywhere.
Well,
So.
I'll put it out. I'll put it out. So hold on. Yes. Go swimming. I'll take care of the dogs. See you. Have fun. Bye. No, just keep. I'll be done in a minute. My wife's taking the kids swimming, so we got 2 dogs here, and I've got to take care of them. So anyway, I will find a. I will find a place if you send it, but I also got to fit Hans Zimmer on this wall, because I'm getting Gary Kester's Hans Zimmer painting, so that's his John Williams one right there. And so, and I have Herman and Goldsmith right there. So I'm thinking I'm having to take Back to the Future down to fit Zimmer. But that's the only other place I could probably put Solo. I don't have any other room. No rooms, because that's just.
Is that the only room in the house?
The only room I have control of. Although my Raiders poster is downstairs in the front hallway, so we were okay with that. But well, maybe I'll put Solo in the dining room. We got some cheap.
Like, I think Ron Howard. I know Ron Howard signed it, and the predominant cast signed it. And
you don't want it anymore?
I don't. I'm not really sure why I bought it to start with. I was like, wow, that's cool. Buy it now. And it's like, I mean, it's never going to get framed. It's never going to get hung up.
Well, maybe I'll put it on the outside. I got this, like, there's a piano painting just on outside my door here. So I could put Solo there. That would look nice. I can own those walls. The walls that are attached to these walls, I own them. The rest of the house, I don't know. I think it's all, well, not, I think it is. It's kids' pictures and things like that on the wall down the hallway.
You know what the kids look like.
Yeah, true. I kind of forget what they looked like when they were young. So it's nice to see those. But anyway, yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I'll take Solo. That'd be fun. It'll look really nice out there, actually. So can I have your Predator 2 one sheet signed by Sylvester, please? We got to aim to get that for you. Now we have to get you all the Predator 2 stuff, everything. We know what we should do. We should do what the Red Letter Media does. Just send you all the versions of the original Predator 2 from Vrez that's out there. Right? Not the deluxe edition, but I'm sure that the original release is probably going for like next to nothing.
How many are there?
Oh, I don't know. It was a wide release, so how many would be out there for sale? We should just, like, every day you open up a package and it's Predator 2 of the original release.
Well, next year I'm going to do soap dish.
Oh my God.
I may even do it from the bathtub.
Or Father the Bride 2. Or what was it? Overboard. Did he do Overboard?
Did Sylvester do Overboard?
I think he did Overboard. Did he do that one, or did is it out? Did he do Overboard or Dutch? Dutch has oh my God, one of the worst looking CDs I've ever seen. I love the movie, but I'll go back and look at Dutch and tell me what you think of what that looks like.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Yes, Retro Reels. We all know you have Predator 2 on LP.
Oh, and you don't have it?
No.
Oh my God.
It's like over $100, and
really,
I just haven't got to it yet.
That one.
I can't buy everything all at once.
Oh, that's another movie.
Yes.
But bad joke.
Anyways, take care, everybody. Doc, don't shop. Keep listening to Great Film Scores. We will be back as soon as we can with another show. Hopefully, Ian will be returning next time, and we'll have everyone back together again.
Yep.
Suggestions
in the comments. Suggestions. What do you want us to talk about?
Yes, what you want to hear next time.
Yep.
And we'll talk to y'all later.